paid my dues time after time. I've done my sentence, but committed no crime. And bad mistakes, I've made a few. I've had my share of sand kicked in my face, but I've come through. And I need to go on, on, on. We are the champions, my friends, and we'll keep on fighting till the end. We are the champions. We are the champions. No time for losers, 'cause we are the champions of the world. I've taken my bows and my curtain calls. You brought me fame and fortune and everything that goes with it. I thank you all.
We'll get to the rest of that. That's a long song. And we're just going to probably reharmonize the beginning of it, the verse and the chorus. But before we get into all that, this is your fourth favorite Queen song. Fantastic. Tell me in the chat what your first, second, and third favorites are. Maybe we can get to those. All right, Bohemian Rhapsody. I swear, one day we've got to do just like a marathon set of lessons all on Bohemian Rhapsody. Anyway, today we're reharmonizing this one, playing it the wrong way on purpose. What are listed here are the chords that I stole off of ultimateguitar.com, ultimate-guitar.com. If you haven't already checked that out, they've got chords for pretty much every song imaginable, which are provided for you by other users that are approximately, 80% right about 80% of the time. So, yeah, so go check those out. They're usually correct-ish, but I think that all the ones that I've got here are edited to be cool and to be right. And then we don't really care about these chords very much. I am going to show you these chords because I know a lot of people who show up for this lesson just want to play the song the right way. So I'm going to show you these chords briefly, but then the goal is not that you can play these chords, but that you understand the concepts, one of the concepts from today of reharmonization, so you can steal that concept and use it in any of your other music that is not this song. So again, in my mind as the teacher, the goal is not that you can do what I'm doing here, but that you can understand it enough to try this concept on your own songs. One of the concepts, we're going to talk about a lot of them today. So just pick the one, wait for something to hit you like, I think I know what he's talking about, and then steal that concept in your own music. Okay. Cool. Yes, the Bohemian Rhapsody marathon. Got more than one vote for that, for sure. Okay, so the C minor real quick. CM stands for C minor. That's those three notes. You're going to want to play those. I'll show you the G minor 7. The next chord is this thing right here. I didn't exactly play that when I was playing it, but I'm trying to play it the wrong way on purpose today anyway. So G minor 7 over C means that your left hand would play a C, and your right hand would play a G minor 7. Again, none of this has to do with today's lesson. This is all just bonus material. And then that goes back and forth. C minor to G minor 7 over C. That back and forth. All right. Pay attention closely, or watch this in the archives and go slowly and rewind it for whatever you need here. But I'm going to show you these chords. That's an E flat. That's an A flat over E flat. So and bad mistakes. I've made a few. Back to the E flat. And then B flat is these three notes. B flat, D, F over D is B flat over D. Cool. And then C minor, we've already played that one. And then F is that one. With that note in there, that's the 7 of it. So that is F7. And then B flat is this one here, which we already played. Now we get to this mess right here. Again, this is going way too fast for anyone to be like, oh yeah, let me try that and play that. But if you want to slow it down and work on it later, we've got an A flat over B flat. And they've got a B flat minor 7 flat 5. Yes, that's a real chord. It looks like this right here. B flat minor. Well, that's a B flat minor. and that's the 1, 3, and 5. So we would flat the 5, and then we would add in the 7 to have a B flat minor, flat 5, with a 7 on it, B flat minor 7, flat 5. Cool, cool. And then a B flat 7 is this. It's just the regular B flat chord that we played before with a 7 on it. Wow, okay. You guys are playing a lot of these chords. That's awesome. And then this C7 right there is just a regular C with that note right there. That's considered the 7. All right, we're actually pretty close to the end of this thing. F chord, A minor, D minor, and then you already know the B flat and the C7. I don't think we did the C7 before. That's the 7 of the C. Is that the C? That's the C7. Cool. F, A minor, B flat, F sharp diminished 7 is right there. F sharp, A, C, E flat. I swear this is not the purpose of this lesson, but enough people seem interested in this. We'll just keep on going here. And then G minor 7, like we talked about before, is that one. And then C7 over G. I'm currently right here. C7 over G. Cool. The next one is a B flat minor 6. We'd play that right there. It's a B flat minor with a 6 added in. Cool. And then B flat minor 6 over D flat. So now we're playing a D flat down here. Same exact chord. B flat minor 6, and then a B flat minor 6 over D flat. And then, man, just a couple chords left. E diminished 7 could be that, or like that right there. So I'm playing an E down here. And then these notes right here make a G diminished 7. Cool. And then F, and then E flat add 9. I'm gonna say that that chord is that right there. It's an E flat chord, but you're gonna add in the 9 and play it over a G. So that's an E flat add 9 over G. Kind of need 2 hands for it, or you can just play it like that, all clustered together, whatever you want to do. And then A flat 6, we're almost there. That's an A flat 6, B flat, and then C minor 7, suspended 4, or sorry, add 4, is that thing right there. So that's in C minor 7, and then an add 4. Okay, and we still have 2 chords left. F minor, and then G minor 7. Cool, that's all of them. So now just 10 minutes into the lesson, we're finally starting the lesson. Hey, what's up, Elron Humperdinck? Awesome name. Cool. So in the learnpianolive.com/reharm, we start talking about what steps we could take to reharmonize. Today we actually are going to use the wheels, unlike our last lesson. These are some of the main ideas that are stolen off of the worksheet that you have if you've downloaded the PDF for this thing. Right here, these are concepts that talk about reharmonizing based on the melody, or reharmonizing based on the bass line, or a lot of stuff that has to do with reharmonizing based on the chords. So this spinning wheel right here at learnpianolive.com/reharm is the same thing as all of these concepts right here. And that's what we're going to focus on today, but instead of me picking them and checking off the boxes, we're going to go from the spinning wheel after we do the first 2 steps. And that is add 7s and 9s and 6s or 13s wherever you can, and then play the 5 of any chord before it. So let's talk about those 2 concepts. It's entirely possible that this is one of these 2 concepts is the thing that you want to steal and go work on your other stuff, and you're going to throw away the entire rest of the lesson. So be open to that idea that just one of these concepts could be revolutionary for the rest of your playing for now, and come back later and grab something else. So all that means is anywhere there's not a 7, we would throw in a 7. So like a 7 right there. So instead of playing the C minor, we would add in the note that is 1 note down in the scale. In this case, I'm going to say we're in the key of E flat temporarily. So key of E flat, do, re, mi, fa, sol, la, ti, do. Cool. So we're going to play the C minor, but we're going to add in the note that is 1 note down in the scale. It's almost always going to be 2 half steps down or 1 whole step down. So C minor, if we add in the note that is 1, 2 half steps below the root of the chord, below the name of the chord, that is going to be the 7. And already we're starting to kind of reharmonize because that 7 was not in there, and we just added it in because we wanted to. So now I'm playing a C minor 7, and then a G minor 7 over C, and a C minor 7. By the way, you can add in those 7s. You can put these notes in any order you want. So you could put it up there, the B flat could be up there. These are all just different inversions of C minor 7. And maybe that's the concept you steal, and you go work on your different inversions of different chords, because that could make a big difference too. If you're playing it like this versus that, it's the same letters, but they have very different feels. Okay, cool. I'll keep on going. Yep, just checking the, cool, checking the chat room. So we've got C minor 7, G7, back and forth. All right, so now let's talk about these and bad mistakes. Now in this case, one note below an E flat in the key of E flat is actually a D. So I'm gonna call this one a major 7 because it's only a half step away from the root. If your 7 is two half steps away from the root, that's called a 7. But if it's only one half step away from the root, then it's called a major 7. How do you know? Well, you go based on the scale. What if I don't know the scale? Then you just trust me and put this one in as a major 7 right here. And then the longer answer to that would be to get to know your major and minor keys and scales from lessons that have to do with that. That is not this lesson. So I'm going to keep on going here. So you have an E flat major 7. It's an E flat with the note added in that's a half step below the root of the chord. So it's that D we want to add in. And then A flat would also be a major 7 over E flat. So now we're already starting to make some changes. We got major 7s on E flats and A flats. We've got a B flat 7 over D, a C minor 7. I'm just adding in 7s, except for on E flat and A flat, I'm adding those triangles, which mean minor or major 7. Sorry, B flat 7, A flat major 7, B flat. Those already have 7s on them. Cool. This is gonna be a major 7, 7, 7, major 7, 7, because we changed keys here. So if what I was saying before made sense and you know what keys are and stuff, then here we changed to the key of F for a little while. We'll be switching back at the end of the chorus. So then that's not because of me or my reharmonization. That's just what Queen did with this song. And then major 7. Cool. So now I've added in 7s in pretty much all the places. And then we're going to also do this other skill that is playing the 5 of any chord before it. So this one is also very revolutionary if you haven't done this before. This is just where you take literally any chord of the entire song. Let's say this one right here. I'm picking this one at random, E flat. And we play an E flat chord. We have the 1, the 3, and the 5. Cool. 1, 3, and 5. So this note right here, this is the 5. And the chord that's built on that is the 5 of E flat. So the 5 of E flat is B flat. So we're going to play a B flat 7 before E flat. It's nowhere in the song. It's not written in the song. They say go from C minor to G minor 7 over C to E flat. We're just adding this chord in right here. I think that's called an interpolation, where you just like stick it in and it wasn't there before. So we're taking any chord and just playing the 5 of it before it. Let's do one more. Let's try, actually we could go before any of these. Let's try going before the C minor. So this is C minor, and 1, 3, 5. That right there is the 5 of C minor. So I'm gonna play a G, 7, always 7, cause. Unless you wanna ask me why in the chat. If you don't care, then just throw a 7 on all these. The G is going to naturally want to move to the C minor. So we'd play C minor 7, G minor 7 over C to G 7, and then C minor, G minor 7 over C. We could throw in another G there to run into the C. So just with this concept right here, let's see how that changes the song. Now, again, if you're really familiar with this song, if you like this song a lot, usually the more you like the song that we're reharmonizing, the less you like the reharmonization because you like the original song. If you haven't heard the original song before, then you can listen to what we're doing. You're like, oh yeah, that's kind of cool, whatever. But in most cases, if you're madly in love with the song and you go to reharmonize it, it kind of changes a lot of the qualities of it and you don't like it as much. But here's the exercise. We try this.
I've paid my dues, time after time. I've done my sentence,
G7.
committed no crime, and bad mistakes.
And there my B flat, and actually that sounded pretty good, in my opinion. So that B flat right there that didn't exist at all, I'll do that again, and this time I'll give you an even bigger nod when I'm doing that B flat 7. So again, we've got C minor to G, C minor. There's not a lot of time in there, so I'm going to go ahead and make an executive decision and cut out this one right here. And I'm just going to go back and forth between C minor and G7, which again significantly alters the sound of the song, but probably fits our purposes of reharmonizing. Here we go. So I'm just going to go C minor 7 to G7 and see what that does. And then I'm going to throw that in that B flat 7 to run into that E flat. I think it was so smooth that most people wouldn't even notice it was there.
I've paid my dues, time after time. I've done my sentence, but committed no crime. And bad mistakes, I've made a few.
Major 7s.
I've had my share of sand kicked in my face, but I've come through. Never need to go home.
Okay, cool. I like that. By the way, on this one, because we are using their vocal track, then all this stuff, anywhere they're coming in and singing the actual chords, we can't really change the chords that much because they're singing those chords. So if we change the chords, it's going to really mess with, it's going to really clash against what they're singing. So for the purposes of this one and this one only, I don't think we've ever done this before, we're going to call this section right here sacred, and we're not going to touch any of those chords because there's a lot of people singing in there. And then there's another one, we are the champions, no time for losers. I think it's right in here, no time for losers. There's not much we can do to reharmonize that because they're singing over top of that. So I think those two lines will be sacred here, and we won't mess with those. But I think it's probably time for us to start talking about some of the other things we could do with chords. So spinning wheel, please don't select 2/5 tritones like you did last time. Harmonic generalization. Okay, we could do this one. So harmonic generalization just means that we're going to take the chords that are generally in the key and just like mess with them, just like play random. Yeah, let's try random chords from inside the key. So I told you before, we're in the key of E flat. So if we're in the key of E flat, that means do, re, mi, fa, sol, la, ti, do. Those are 7 notes. And these, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, those are 7 chords before it loops back around again. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 1. By the way, those are all called diatonic chords, just meaning that they go according to the scale. None of those chords violates the rules of E flat, which is make sure all your E flats your E's are flat, make sure all your A's are flat, and make sure all your B's are flat. Okay, cool. So we're taking diatonic chords out of E flat and throwing them in there. I'm going to actually do that during this section right here. So I'm going to, before this B flat, I'm just going to do some harmonic generalization. There we go. So I'm going to play, I'll start off with a C minor, but then I might go to a B flat, A flat, G minor, F minor, E flat. Let's see what that sounds like if I just kind of pick some chords from the key of E flat while he's singing his thing. It would sound perhaps something like this.
I've paid my dues, time after time. I've done my sentence, but committed no crime. And bad mistakes.
Okay, cool. So I think that sounded planned, but it was not. I just went straight down. And then I went back up a little ways, and then I noticed that when I landed on the B flat, that's where I was supposed to be on the B flat anyway. So then I went into bad mistakes. Let me do another one that hopefully doesn't sound as good or sound as planned. I'll try to pick more random chords instead of going in order. It would sound like this.
I've paid my dues, time after time. I've done my sentence, but committed no crime. And bad mistakes, I've made a few.
Cool. So I think that sounded worse than the first one, but neither one of them sounded like wrong, unless you really love the song and you don't want me to mess with it, in which case you're at the wrong lesson. We're messing with it. So we've got harmonic generalization, which just means pick some chords out of the key. I think I liked what I did the first time. I'm going to try to steal that again. So I'm going to go from C minor diatonically, according to the key, down to F minor. And then I'm going to work my way back up to the B flat, which is this B flat right here. So during that whole time, I'm just going to use that time to try to walk down to F minor and then walk back up to the B flat. And then we're into the E flat with major sevens on there, which is what makes it sound, I hesitate to say jazzy in case any jazz musicians are listening to this lesson, but for everyone who doesn't play jazz music, it sounds jazzy. All right, so the next thing we want to do is check the chat. Cool. There, I can't slow down the track right now in the middle of the lesson, but I could give you a slowed down track later on if you ask me. So no problem, we can do that. Okay, so the next thing we want to try is dominant polychords built on 2, flat 3, flat 5, flat 6, or 6. Okay, so this is where we take any dominant chord, any 7 chord. Like for example, let's not do that first section because we were already harmonically generalizing in there. I don't think that's the real sentence, but let me take an actual 7 chord from here. So we could do both of these actually. Let's do the F7 and the B flat 7. So here's the idea. You can, we'll take the F7 for right now. You can just play another chord that's on top of this, that starts on the 2 of F. So if this is F, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 1, the 2 would be right here, and we could play that major chord like that on top of the F7. And so that's like 2 chords at the same time, which is why it's called a polychord. And it's a dominant chord with another chord on top of it. Technically, this has its own name. This would be like an F13 sharp 11 or something like that. But another way to think of it is an F7 with a G sitting on top of it. You could do the same thing off of the flat 3 if you wanted to. So the flat 3, 1, 2, 3, that's the 3. We can go to the flat 3 and play this one right here and play. That's pretty out there. Out of context, it sounds pretty horrific. I'm sure I would love it. And then we have the flat 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So that's the 5. That's the flat 5. We could play the major chord based on the flat 5 right there. I like that one a lot. And then we could play the flat 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. That's the 6. That'd be the flat 6. That's the major chord. This is the polychord. That's pretty cool. Or the 6, which would be this one right here. So those are our options. Probably to the untrained ear and most trained ears, those all sound equally horrific. So I'm gonna go ahead and pick randomly well, I liked the flat 5. It's hard for me to leave that one out. I'm gonna pick the flat 5 because I liked it. And we'll also try the 6. So we'll go flat 5 and the 6 on these 2 chords here. So for this one, this polychord is going to be like a B chord over an F. So I'm just going to write that in here, B over F. Literally playing a B chord over an F7. Now, normally, if you said B over F, it would mean play a B, but play the note F in your left hand. In this case, we're actually going to play the full-on B chord and the full F7 chord. Cool. And then we're going to do this, I think I said the 6 for the B flat. So this is our B flat 7 in our left hand, and then 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. This is like a G over B flat 7. This is a lot of color. I'm afraid I put too many of them too close together, but it's gonna go F7 with a B on top to a B flat with a G on top. Cool. That's that one. That's that one. So I've had my share. I've had my share of sand kicked in my face, but I've come through. Yeah, that's pretty jazzy, and I'm afraid they've got some other vocals in there. They're gonna mess with that. But let's see what this sounds like so far. This is messy.
Paid my dues.
That's right.
Time after time, I've done my sentence, but committed no crime. And bad mistakes, I've made a few. I've had my share of sand kicked in my face, but I've come through. And I need to go on.
I can do better. Maybe I can't. We're about to find out.
Time after time, I've done my sentence, but committed no crime. And bad mistakes, I've made a few. I've had my share of sand kicked in my face, but I've come through. And I need to go on. We are the champions.
Yeah. I hate it. I absolutely hate it. But that is the concept, and maybe if you don't stick two of them right next to each other, they won't sound so horrific. But because we're doing this randomly to prove to you that I'm not making this sound better on purpose, I'm going to keep on moving and wait to the end to make any preferential judgments on this thing. And we're just going to move on to augmented dominant chords. Cool. So this also uses dominant chords. By the way, dominant is just another way of saying this thing right here. Just a 7 that's by itself. You have a 7 by itself. It's a 7 chord. This is a C7. Another way of saying that is C dominant, for reasons that I don't think we care to get into right now. We're not going to do that one because that's got other stuff on it. But we are running out of 7 chords in here. So dominant chords. So what we're going to do is that thing. Nope. We're going to go to the chorus. Yeah, let's do that. So then in the chorus, because we've already messed with this thing a lot. Yeah, let's leave it alone. In the chorus, let's go ahead and do this one here. This is a C7 and is not sacred. So we're just going to put a little plus sign on that. That is augmented or plus dominant chords. Don't say plus, by the way. It's always augmented. It's never plus. But we put the plus, that's the sign for it. Just like the triangle is the delta is the symbol for major 7 chords. Don't ever say triangle or delta. It always is major 7. But you read it that way. So then right here, we're going to take this C7 chord and we're just going to take the 5 of that and raise it a half step. Again, we're covering a ton of territory, and the goal of this lesson is for you to take one thing away. So I'm hoping that 99% of students have already found that one thing, and they are already off and practicing. So hopefully no one's seeing this unless you've already done all the stuff we're already talking about. In which case, this might be your nugget from this lesson. This is a dominant chord. We're going to take the 5 and raise it. Now, there's a couple different ways you can mess with this. You can either play the original dominant chord and then raise it, or you can go straight to the augmented chord, or you can play the augmented chord and bring it down to the 5. So there's a lot of messing around with like the 5 and the raised 5 that makes it the C7 or the C augmented 7. So I might try to do some of all of that. Unfortunately, that's the only 7 in that whole entire section, so we're going to add in another one. Any ideas how we're going to do that? We talked about it earlier. If you want to, you can just play the 5 of any chord before it, and that's always going to be a dominant chord. So we can pick any chord we want. Let's pick something that we have some time for. Let's do before the B flat 7. So we're going to put in a chord right here. It's going to be the 5 of B flat, and a chord right here. It's going to be the 5 of D minor. So the 5 of B flat is going to be 1, 3, 5, and F. So we're going to go F. That's a 7. Good try. You were just a little bit ahead. There we go. F, 7. And then we're going to make this one augmented. And that should lead us into the B flat chord that we want to get to. So it's going to go, that line right there is going to go F major 7, A minor 7 to an F augmented 7 to B flat. Whew. That's kind of cool. I like that. And then the D minor, 1, 3, 5. A is the 5 of D, and so we could put that in there. That's the first rule of reharmonization, is we're allowed to put the 5 of any chord before that chord, and then because we're looking for dominant chords to augment, we're going to augment that one as well. So instead of playing an A7, we're going to play an A augmented 7 before the D minor. So that line right there is going to go F major 7, A minor 7, A augmented 7, to D minor. And then this would be quite interesting. All right, let me see if I can remember all this stuff. The F7 with that one's messy, man. Okay, here we go. Good luck to us all. You can just sit back and listen if you want. Or if you're already sick of this stuff, go practice. That's time well spent.
I've paid my dues, time after time. I've done my sentence, but committed no crime. And bad mistakes, I've made a few. I've had my share of sand kicked in my face, but I've come.
Oh, that's the one. I lost my place. Sorry. My face, but. And then I've got to jump in. We had to go on. And then we're into the augmented chords that I didn't even touch that time.
I've paid my dues, time after time. I've done my sentence, but committed no crime. And bad mistakes, I've made a few.
Here we go.
I've had my share of sand kicked in my face, but I've come through. And I need to go on. We are the champions, my friends, and we'll keep on fighting till the end. We are the champions. We are the champions. No time for losers, 'cause we are the champions of the world. I've taken my bows.
And we're back to that. Okay. Alrighty, so we are the champions. Unfortunately, the sacred part begins back here. So all of that has other vocals in there. So I'll just stick with those, which is fine. They're iconic or whatever. All right, let's do one more of these for today. Backdoor 2 5s, which means a minor 4 to a flat 7 to lead into a 1. Once again, we need more 5s in this song, which makes it a good thing that one of the rules is you can play the 5 of any chord before it, in case you didn't know that before. That might be the nugget you want to steal from this lesson. So then we need more dominant chords so we can do these backdoor 2 5 things. Let's see here. Where should we put them in? We don't have a lot of them. Maybe I'm going to steal this one out right here. I'm not picking this one on purpose because I think it's going to sound better. But this one right here, we're going to backdoor 2 5 that C7. Let's do one more. Is there? Oh, what about this one here? We could backdoor this one as well. So both of those C7s, they're 7 chords, but we're going to instead turn them into backdoor dominants. So they are C's, C7s, C dominant chords. Hopefully some of these words are making sense if you've made it this far in the lesson. Okay, the C is the 5 of F, and indeed we are going to F. So now we're going to use a backdoor dominant. Backdoor 2 5, sorry. So that means we're gonna go to minor 4 and then flat 7 dominant. Minor 4 to flat 7 dominant. Minor 4 to flat 7 dominant. So over here, our goal is to get to the F. The minor 4 of that, well, this just died on me. Oh, it overheated on me. Fun, fun. All right, so we're stuck on that view for here just a second. That's never happened to me before. Awesome. So then the minor 4 would be 1, 2, 3, 4. This is the first part of it. Minor 4 to flat 7 dominant. So we're gonna go play a B flat minor right there as the minor 4 part, and then flat 7. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Flat 7 would be E flat, so E flat dominant. So instead of playing a C7 to an F, we're gonna not play the C7 and instead play the minor 4, which in this case is a B flat minor, to the dominant flat 7, which in this case is E flat 7. So both of those chords take the place of the C7. So minor 4, flat 7, dominant to the F. And I'm hoping that somewhere in here, it is still overheating. That's fun. I have no idea what I had written before. And it didn't freeze on the zoom out. All right, I'm gonna try to remember here. I'll just do it by memory. We're the champions, my friend. We'll keep on fighting till the end. Oh, and we want the back door right there. Well, this seems worth it. I think I need to wait. Still overheating. All right, let me try it. We'll see what I can remember.
I've paid my dues.
So this is harmonic generalization.
Time after time, I've done my sentence, but committed no crime. And bad mistakes, I've made a few. I've had my share of sand kicked in my face, but I've come through. And I need to go on, 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 on. We are the champions, my friends, and we'll keep on fighting till the end. We are the champions. We are the champions. No time for losers, 'cause we are the champions.
Okay, do we wait? We've got to wait, right? Come on, baby. Hey, here we go. Hopefully it saved everything and didn't erase it all. We're about to find out. Okay, so where I played the C augmented was what was wrong with that. I was supposed to play the minor 2, 5, or backdoor 2, 5, sorry, to get to the 1. And we'll see if I can remember that if, come on, be saved. I swear this has never happened before, but while we're waiting some, oh yeah, cool. And let's try it. Oh. I don't think you can see this yet. It's trying. Hey, there we go. We're back and the suspense and the dead air are killing me. Yeah, none of it's there at all. It's totally cleaned up. Awesome. Okay, well then, I'm just gonna try to remember it. We wanted the back door right here. So this guy was the one that was gonna be B flat minor to E flat 7. All right, the rest of it, I'm just gonna have to try to remember what we did. Good luck to us all.
I've paid my dues, time after time. I've done my sentence, but committed no crime. And bad mistakes, I've made a few. I've had my share of sand kicked in my face, but I've come through. And I need to go on, on. We are the champions, my friends, and we'll keep on fighting till the end. We are the champions. We are the champions. No time for losers, 'cause we are the champions of the world.
Yeah, okay, that was not the place we were supposed to put it because that is one of the sacred lines, which I would remember if my computer remembered. What we were supposed to do was right here, put in the B flat minor and then the E flat 7. So I actually did that, but I didn't tell you ahead of time. Once we got to that section, I realized, oh, that's right, it's a sacred line. So one more time from the top, trying to do all the stuff that we talked about that was earlier in the lesson. Yeah? All right, cool. Yeah, there should be an autosave option, but when you have a really poopy old surface, then it overheats occasionally. So here we go.
I've paid my dues.
Apparently. It hasn't overheated before. But anyway.
I've paid my dues time after time. I've done my sentence, but committed no crime. And bad mistakes, I've made a few. I've had my share of sand kicked in my face, but I've come through. And I need to go on, on, on. We are the champions, my friends, and we'll keep on fighting till the end. We are the champions. We are the champions. No time for losers, 'cause we are the champions of the world.
Yeah, cool. So what I want to do, because I'm afraid it's going to overheat again, but I did want to make some changes to it. This thing right here, I'm falling more and more in love with that, even though it still sounds like wildly out of place. I kind of like it, so I'm going to keep that. But I think that's his last note right there, and I think I'm going to just end this on what's called a Picardy third, which means you got a song that's like super duper minor. So you got... And it's supposed to be that. It's supposed to be F minor, but I'm going to turn it to F major. Like that right there. Of the world. And I'm going to play an F major chord. Major 7. Maybe. Cool. Let's see what happens there. So this is just one of the things that is in... Oh, it's not over there anymore because it... we did this right. So one of the things is the Picardy third, where you just take any major chord to make it... No. Any minor chord... Time out. One of the concepts is you can take any major chord and make it minor. Try it out. You take any minor chord and make it major. Just try it out. And if you do that on the last chord where it was supposed to be minor and you turn it major, that one in particular is the one that's called the Picardy third. Cool. So I'm going to add that in at the very end.
I've paid my dues time after time. I've done my sentence, but committed no crime. And bad mistakes, I've made a few. I've had my share of sand kicked in my face, but I've come through. And I need to go on, 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 on. We are the champions, my friends, and we'll keep on fighting till the end. We are the champions. We
All right, cool. So there were several things in there that I liked and some that I grew to like. Hopefully there is at least one thing in there that made sense to you, but you haven't done it much and you feel like it's kind of a challenge, and you can take that one little concept and go work on that on your own songs. If you want to send me videos of stuff that you've worked on, where you've taken some of these concepts and place them in your music and you're not quite sure if you did it right or not, send me your videos. And till next time, I think go explore, mess up, have fun, rock on, friends. See you next time.